Ladies and gentlemen, most people sit around waiting for motivation like it's some magical force that appears out of nowhere to lift them into action. But here's the raw truth: motivation is unreliable. It fades, it fluctuates, it disappears when you need it most. If you're serious about getting things done, building your dream, achieving success, you have to stop worshiping motivation and start mastering discipline. Discipline is the real fuel for success, the quiet force that keeps winners moving long after motivation dies out. Think about it. How many mornings have you woken up without energy, without excitement, maybe even doubting yourself? How many times has your mind tried to convince you to stay comfortable, sleep a little longer, skip the workout, delay the project, push your goals to tomorrow? That voice is always there, whispering comfort, selling excuses, making it easy to settle. But the people who rise above that voice, the ones who force themselves to act despite their feelings, they're the ones who get ahead. Discipline doesn't care how you feel in the moment. Discipline shows up regardless. It's setting the alarm when you'd rather sleep. It's working on your craft when no one is watching. It's pushing through resistance when your mind screams for an escape. And here's the beauty discipline compounds. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you get stronger. You train your mind to obey your goals, not your moods, and that mental muscle, it's what separates average from unstoppable. There's a reason the top 1% think differently. They don't rely on motivation to carry them. They wake up and execute whether they feel like it or not. It's brushing your teeth mentality, non-negotiable, daily, automatic. You don't ask yourself if you're motivated to brush your teeth, you just do it. Your goals deserve the same commitment. The truth is, discipline creates the environment where motivation occasionally visits. The more you act, the more confidence grows. The more consistency builds, the more energy follows. You can't sit still, wait for inspiration, and expect results. Winners understand this. They force movement, they create momentum, they let discipline drag them forward when their feelings want to hold them back. Success doesn't belong to the most talented or the most inspired, it belongs to the most disciplined. The person willing to show up daily, grind through the hard days, and stack results in silence. Every champion you admire. They've mastered the art of disciplined action, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. That's the standard you have to set if you're serious about your next level. The question isn't whether you feel ready, the question is whether you're disciplined enough to execute regardless. Comfort zones are silent killers. They creep in disguised as safety, disguised as rest, disguised as taking it easy. But in reality, they are one of the biggest traps that hold people back from greatness. You might not feel the damage in the moment, but the longer you stay in your comfort zone, the more your dreams, your potential, and your confidence start to erode. That's why you have to break comfort before it breaks you. You have to be bold enough to lean into discomfort now so life becomes easier down the road. Think about it. Nothing extraordinary has ever been built inside a comfort zone. No success story starts with, "I stayed comfortable and everything changed." Growth lives in discomfort. Your potential is buried beneath resistance, challenge, fear, and uncertainty. Most people run from those things, but the people who win, they run straight toward them. They know that temporary discomfort is the price of long-term freedom. Every time you avoid discomfort, you delay your progress. Every time you shrink away from the hard conversations, the difficult decisions, the early mornings, the unfamiliar territory, you reinforce limitation. But when you push through discomfort, when you force yourself to show up, stretch your limits, and take action even when it's hard, you expand. Your confidence expands, your skills expand, your vision expands. Life has a way of making you uncomfortable anyway. The difference is whether you choose your discomfort or it chooses you. You can voluntarily lean into growth. The early mornings, the hard workouts, the late night hustle, the uncomfortable risks. Or you can wait until life hits you with discomfort you didn't choose. Regret, missed opportunities, stagnant potential. One path builds you, the other breaks you. High achievers understand that short-term comfort equals long, short-term pain, but short-term discomfort equals long-term success. They force themselves to take the harder path now, the one with uncertainty, challenges, and growth, because they know it's the only path that leads to freedom. That discomfort you fear, that's the sign you're on the right track. Everything you want, the confidence, the success, the health, the income, the mindset, it lives just beyond your comfort zone, but you have to get uncomfortable to reach it. You have to be willing to feel awkward, to stumble, to face resistance. Discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's a signal to lean in. When you rewire your mind to embrace discomfort instead of running from it, you become dangerous. You become the kind of person who can adapt, overcome, and rise under pressure. Comfort zones might feel safe, but they're cages dressed in luxury. Break the cage, get uncomfortable. Stretch your limits, because the life you're dreaming about isn't waiting inside the boundaries of your current comfort zone. It's waiting on the other side of the discomfort. You keep avoiding. Momentum is the secret weapon of high achievers. Most people think success requires giant leaps overnight, but the reality is far different. The most powerful transformations are built on small wins that stack over time. It's those tiny daily victories that build unstoppable momentum, and once momentum is on your side, you become dangerous. You stop hesitating, you stop overthinking, and you start creating results faster than you ever thought possible. Here's the truth most people avoid. The hardest part isn't achieving the goal, it's getting started. Starting feels heavy. It feels overwhelming. Your mind will flood you with reasons to delay, to wait, to convince yourself it's not the right time. But the moment you force yourself to take that first small action, the entire game changes. Action breeds confidence. Confidence breeds more action. Before you know it, you've shifted from stuck to unstoppable. And it all started with one small win. Picture this. You set your alarm earlier by just 10 minutes and actually get up. That's a win. You make your bed, drink a glass of water, stretch for 5 minutes. That's momentum. Suddenly, your brain starts to associate you with discipline, with progress, with control. Those tiny wins compound. They create a ripple effect across your entire day, and the more you stack them, the more unstoppable you feel. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You need to master the art of daily non-negotiables. Small habits, small victories, repeated with consistency, are what separate those who talk about success from those who live it. Each time you force yourself to complete a small task, even when it feels insignificant, you're casting a vote for the person you're becoming. You're reinforcing belief, building discipline, and generating the momentum that fuels bigger actions. Momentum isn't magic. It's not luck. It's built brick by brick through small, intentional decisions. Once you understand that, you stop waiting for the perfect moment to act. You create it. You force movement in the smallest way possible, and that movement snowballs. Suddenly, you've gone from procrastination to progress, from hesitation to execution, from average to exceptional. The most successful people on the planet aren't superhuman. They are masters of momentum. They know the power of small, daily wins. They understand that progress, no matter how small, builds energy, and energy is contagious. Energy fuels belief. Belief fuels action. Action creates momentum. It's a loop that, once started, is hard to stop. But you have to start it. You have to force that first uncomfortable step. Stack that first small win, and let momentum take over from there. Your mind is your battlefield, and procrastination is the enemy silently stealing your time, your goals, your future. The truth is, procrastination isn't about laziness. It's about your mindset controlling you instead of you controlling your mindset. Most people lose the battle before they even start because they let their feelings decide their actions. But the moment you flip that script and master your mindset, procrastination loses its grip. Your mind can either convince you to delay or push you to dominate. It's your choice. Have you ever noticed how your mind talks you out of action? It whispers excuses. I'll do it later. I'm not ready. I need more time. But those thoughts are lies designed to keep you in your comfort zone, To conquer procrastination, you have to override those mental patterns. You have to force your mind to obey your mission, not your mood. The strongest version of you exists beyond the hesitation, beyond the doubt, beyond the urge to delay. Every time you take action despite feeling unmotivated, you're rewiring your brain for discipline and success. You're training your mind to perform under pressure, to show up regardless of emotion, to execute even when comfort tries to pull you back. That's where real confidence is born, not from perfect conditions, but from mastering your internal dialogue and pushing through resistance. Champions aren't free from procrastination. They've just mastered their minds. It's so well that procrastination doesn't win. You do that by recognizing the moment hesitation shows up and attacking it with immediate action. Don't negotiate with your mind. The faster you move, the quieter the excuses become, and suddenly, your mind transforms from your biggest barrier to your greatest weapon for success. Most people sit around waiting for energy to magically appear before they take action. But that's why they stay stuck. The truth is, energy follows action, not the other way around. If you're waiting to feel motivated, energized, or ready, you're going to wait forever while life passes you by. High performers, the people building their dreams, understand that you create energy by moving, by doing, by forcing yourself to start even when you feel drained or uninspired. Have you ever noticed how hard it feels to get moving at first, but once you do, momentum builds? That's not an accident. It's biology. Your body and mind are designed to reward movement with energy, but only after you take the first step. The gym feels impossible until you put on your shoes. The project feels overwhelming until you write the first sentence. The goal feels out of reach until you force the first action. Suddenly, energy rushes in, your confidence grows, and what felt impossible becomes unstoppable. The difference between average and extraordinary isn't some magical burst of motivation. It's the ability to force action before the energy shows up. Winners move first. They start the workout when they're tired. They make the call when they feel uncertain. They take the leap when fear screams for them to stay still. And once they act, energy multiplies, motivation floods in, and momentum takes over. Your energy is hidden on the other side of action. Stop waiting for it to arrive, because the longer you hesitate, the heavier life feels. Move first, no matter how small the step, and watch how your energy follows your commitment. Your future self is depending on you right now, in this very moment, to make the hard choices, to take the uncomfortable steps, to do the work that shapes the life you've always wanted. Most people walk through life disconnected from their future, acting like today doesn't matter, like procrastination is harmless, like avoiding the tough tasks is just a temporary relief. But every choice you make today echoes forward, stacking up to either build your dream life or destroy it piece by piece. Visualize the strongest, most successful, most confident version of yourself. The version that walks with purpose, that earns respect, that lives with freedom, fulfillment, and undeniable power. That version of you doesn't happen by accident. They are sculpted by the painful, disciplined, relentless actions you take when no one is watching, especially on the days you feel tired, defeated, or unmotivated. Your future self is watching, counting on you to show up right now. The real tragedy isn't failing in the future. It's realizing you betrayed your potential because you refused to force yourself to grow when it was uncomfortable. Every skipped workout, every delayed goal, every excuse, every "I'll do it later" moment piles up until one day your future self is standing in regret instead of victory. But when you make the hard choices now, the early mornings, the late nights, the extra reps, the uncomfortable conversations, you're building a version of yourself that's unstoppable. Your future isn't written in fate. It's written in discipline, decisions, and discomfort. Every time you push yourself today, you make life easier for your future self. The stronger your habits, the sharper your mindset, the more relentless your work ethic, the more powerful your future becomes.